If you have a tomato plant sitting in your garden right now, there's a good chance it's about to die. Not because you're a bad gardener, but because June and July are the months when tomato plants face their greatest challenge.
In spring, when I transplanted my
Spring
tomatoes,
was easy. You transplanted them, the weather was cool, you watered occasionally. But summer? Summer is the killer. The heat hits, the humidity rises, the pests explode, and suddenly your thriving tomato plants start withering, dropping leaves, and producing less. Meanwhile, your neighbor's tomatoes are exploding with abundance. What's the difference? It's not luck. It's not genetics. It's that they know what to do right now that most gardeners completely forget about. Throughout this video, I'm going to show you exactly 3 things that separate bumper crops from failed seasons. First, how to protect your plants from dying in the heat. Second, how to harvest smart so you get double the tomatoes. Third, how to prevent disease before it destroys everything. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to do when you walk out to your garden this afternoon. Stay with me. Right now, in June, your tomato plants need something completely different than they needed in May. The rules have changed. The temperatures have changed. The plant's demands have changed. And if you don't change what you're doing, your tomatoes will pay the price. Here are the 3 specific things that protect your plants when summer tries to kill them. Mulch. In spring, when I transplanted my tomatoes, I deliberately did not put mulch on them. The reason is simple. In spring, the soil is cold. The air is cold. I want that dark soil exposed so it absorbs sunlight and heats up quickly. Mulch in spring cools the soil down when I need it heating up. It works against you. But June is completely different. Now the temperatures are rising. The heat is getting intense. The soil is already warm. And suddenly, mulch becomes your best friend. Here's why. Mulch retains water in the soil. When temperatures spike and you're watering constantly to keep your plants hydrated, mulch reduces evaporation. That means you water less. That means your soil stays more consistently moist. And consistent moisture means your plant is less stressed. It also regulates temperature. Mulch keeps the soil cooler during extreme summer heat. That matters because your tomato roots suffer in extreme heat just like the leaves do. This is especially critical if you're growing tomatoes in containers. Containers are small water reservoirs. In heat, they dry out fast. I've seen perfect tomato plants from 2 weeks ago start showing blossom end rot because the container dried out too quickly and the plant couldn't absorb the calcium it needs. What you mulch with matters less than actually mulching. I use old wheat straw. I buy fresh bales, let them decompose in the sun for 2 months, then use that decomposed straw. The reason is that fresh bales contain weed seeds that will germinate everywhere. Old, decomposed straw? Those seeds are already dead. But you can use anything natural. Cedar mulch, cypress mulch, wood chips, pine straw. What you cannot use is rubber mulch or dyed mulch. Rubber mulch is made from old tires decomposing in your soil. Dyed mulch is ground-up construction waste. Old pallets, 2x4s, plywood, colored to look natural. You don't want that decomposing in your garden. Just use natural mulch. Apply 2 to 3 inches around the base of each plant. That's it. Fertilizers. Every 2 weeks. Here's what most gardeners don't realize. All the fertilizer you put in the transplant hole in spring? It's gone. We're in June. That initial fertilizer was consumed weeks ago. And right now, when your tomatoes need nutrients more than ever, when they're growing fast, producing flowers, making fruit, your soil is depleted. This is critical. A tomato plant starved for nutrients is weak. A weak plant is a magnet for pests and disease. One stressed plant can compromise your entire garden. I've seen entire plantings fail because gardeners didn't realize their tomatoes needed consistent fertilizing throughout the growing season. Here's my routine every 2 weeks. First, I apply a granular organic fertilizer around the base of each plant. I mix my own blend. All-purpose organic fertilizer, bone meal for phosphorus, azomite for trace minerals, and crab shell meal for micronutrients. About 2 tablespoons per plant right in the soil. Then immediately after, I water with a water-soluble mix. Fish fertilizer plus a balanced NPK fertilizer. The water-soluble dissolves the granular and makes nutrients immediately available to the plant. Why does this matter so much? Because tomatoes are demanding plants. They want to grow. They want to produce fruit. That requires constant energy. The cost? Maybe $10 to $15 of fertilizer for the entire season. The return? Tomatoes that keep producing. Plants that don't stress out. Plants that don't attract pests because they're not weak and struggling. Harvests that triple compared to neglected plant. I have tomato plants that are 8 to 9 feet tall by late June on the humid southeastern coast of North Carolina, one of the most humid places in the country, and practically disease-free. Why? Because the plants are well-fed. A well-fed plant is a healthy plant. A healthy plant resists everything. Shade cloth. 40% protection. Here comes something that contradicts everything you've heard about tomatoes. Most plant tags say, tomatoes, full sun. It's a myth. Complete myth. And it needs to be broken. Tomatoes are not a full sun plant. Tomatoes are an understory vine. They evolved to climb trees in the tropical understory, growing under the dappled light of a forest canopy. They don't grow under brutal desert sun. Why do the tags say full sun then? History. When tomatoes came to the United States, they were replanted in the Northeast and Great Lakes, places with short growing seasons. May to September. That's it. If you wanted a big harvest, you needed to maximize light to speed growth. So, full sun became the rule. But most of you don't live in the Northeast. You live in the South, Southeast, Desert, West. Places where summer sun is brutal. And when you put a tomato in brutal full sun, the plant hates it. You see the leaves curled up like a taco shell. That's not normal. That's extreme stress. That's the plant telling you, the sun is too strong. Tomato leaves are like solar panels. They're designed to absorb light and do photosynthesis. But tomatoes didn't evolve to handle summer sun in North Carolina or Arizona or Texas. When the sun is too intense, the plant curls its leaves to reduce surface area and limit how much light it absorbed. The solution? 40% shade cloth from early June through mid-August. This doesn't compromise pollination. Tomatoes are wind-pollinated and there's plenty of wind under the cloth. But it reduces sun intensity just enough that the plant keeps its leaves open, maintains full photosynthesis, and doesn't stress from heat. The benefits are real. Leaves don't curl. Pollination rates actually increase because bumblebees are more active under cooler temperatures. The plant needs less water because there's less evaporation. And when a plant isn't stressed by extreme heat, it attracts fewer pests because insects don't detect that vulnerable plant signal. Summary. 3 things this month. 1. Mulch. Retains water, regulates temperature, reduces stress. 2. Fertilize. Every 2 weeks fed plants are strong plants. Strong plants resist pests and disease. 3. Shade cloth 40%. June through August protects from the killer heat. These 3 things protect your tomatoes from the death that June and July bring. If you're finding this helpful and want to see more videos like this, subscribe right now. Takes you 1 second means everything to me. Thank you. But protecting is just the defense. There's more to winning. The next part? That's the offense. Protection gets your plants through summer alive. But alive is not the same as abundant. Now that you've protected your tomatoes from heat, there are 3 more things you need to do to turn survival into massive harvest. Harvest at 40 to 50% ripeness. Here's something that contradicts what you've probably heard. Most people believe tomatoes need to fully ripen on the vine to get their best flavor. It's completely false. There's a specific moment when a tomato goes through 4 different ripeness stages: immature green, mature green, breaker, and fully ripe. Immature green is early, don't harvest. Mature green is when the tomato reaches full size but hasn't started changing color. This is when grocery stores pick tomatoes because they're hard and won't bruise in shipping. But here's the problem. If you pick at this stage, the tomato will never develop proper flavor because it won't get sugars from the plant. Then comes breaker stage. This is when the tomato starts changing color on the vine but isn't fully ripe yet. This is 40 to 50% ripeness. And here's what almost nobody understands. Once a tomato reaches about 40 to 50% ripeness, it becomes physically cut off from the plant. The connection seals over. So although it's still sitting on the vine, it's not receiving nutrients from the plant anymore. Once a tomato is 50% ripe, there is literally zero benefit to leaving it on the plant. It's been completely sealed off. Yet so many people think it has to stay on the vine to fully ripen and develop flavor. That's a myth. After it's half ripe, it's not actually connected to the plant anymore. It's just hanging there receiving nothing. All you're doing by leaving it on the vine is exposing it to damage. Humidity and rainfall crack the skin. Worms, caterpillars, beetles, stink bugs, birds, they all attack. The more vibrant the color, the more pests it attracts. And there is no physical benefit to leaving it on the vine after 50% ripeness. You know what's funny? At 50% ripeness, they practically pop right off. Try that with a green tomato. It won't budge because it's physically connected. But at breaker stage, just give it a gentle pop and it snaps off instantly. The stem has already disconnected internally. So here's what you do. Pick your tomatoes at 40 to 50% ripeness, bring them inside, place them upside down on your countertop, and they ripen naturally indoors, protected from the elements and pests. The result? You get twice as many harvests because your tomatoes aren't overhanging on the vines when they're too soft and vulnerable. You stop having perfect tomatoes get split open and attacked. Zero pruning. Here's another myth that needs to die. The idea that tomatoes need pruning for better airflow. Tomatoes are understory vines. They evolved to grow underneath forest canopies, basically in windless, stagnant environment. Why on earth would we ever prune something that adapted to grow without airflow to give it more airflow? Pruning tomatoes is a self-defeating cycle. When you prune, you stress the plant. You create open wounds in the cell walls that invite pathogens in. As disease spreads, you want to prune more, which creates more stress and more open wounds, which spreads more disease. The more you cut, the more disease you get. The more disease you see, the more you want to cut. It's a vicious cycle that ends with a dead plant. Compare this to unpruned plants. My tomato plants are 8 to 9 feet tall by late June and practically disease-free. Why? Because I don't cut into them. I let them grow naturally. I create zero open wounds for pathogens to enter. You might see a tiny bit of disease at the very bottom of an 8-foot plant. Does it matter? No. Because the plant is growing 10 times faster than the disease spread. Eventually, those diseased leaves just dry out and fall off on their own. No need to cut them off and create an open wound. The only tomatoes I pruned this season were some indeterminates in the front because I had to shift containers around late in the season and they were overgrown. And you know what? Disease spread like wildfire on them. Super Sweet 100, normally a disease-resistant variety, is probably going to be a goner because I cut into it. Meanwhile, all my unpruned tomatoes are basically perfect. Let your tomatoes branch out and vine out like crazy. Don't touch them. Tomato plants are not pruned in nature. Keep interference to an absolute minimum. None is best. Remove diseased plants immediately. If you ever see a tomato plant wilting and giving it water doesn't fix it, you have a problem. It's a wilt disease, fusarium or bacterial wilt. It's soil-borne, and it spreads fast. If you're growing tomatoes in ground and you see one wilting, you have to remove it immediately before the disease spreads to the others. Don't hesitate, just pull it out. This is why I grow all my indeterminate tomatoes in containers. In my area, wilt disease is common. Containers isolate the plant. If one gets sick, only that one suffers. If I planted them in ground, one sick plant could compromise the entire garden. Most determinate and semi-determinate varieties are more disease-resistant anyway. But the cool varieties everyone wants? Those are usually indeterminate and wimpy. So I isolate them in containers, and if one gets sick, I deal with just that one. It's simple disease management. Catch it early, remove it quickly, minimize collateral damage. Summary: 3 more things that maximize your harvest. 1. Harvest at 40 to 50% ripeness. Plant is done feeding it, you get twice as many harvests. 2. Zero pruning. No wounds, no disease, healthier plant. 3. Remove diseased plants immediately, prevent spread, protect the rest. These 3 things, combined with the protection from segment 1, turn your garden from barely surviving into abundantly producing. This is where the real wins happen. So here's what we've covered. Protection: mulch, fertilize every 2 weeks, shade cloth 40%. Maximization: harvest at breaker stage, don't prune anything, remove diseased plants quick. 6 things. That's it. Not complicated. Specific. If you implement all of these, your tomato garden will transform. You'll have plants that are healthier. You'll have harvests that are bigger. You'll lose way fewer plants to disease and pests. But here's what I want to be honest about. There's a lot of information here. If you haven't done any of these things, it might feel overwhelming trying to do it all at once. Don't. Just start with the easiest. Maybe that's mulching this week. Maybe that's setting up fertilizer next week. Maybe it's installing shade cloth the following week. Make small changes over time. You'll get better at this. Your garden will improve year after year. Remember, this is supposed to be fun. This is supposed to be rewarding. The journey is the whole point. The process is what we're after. Don't stress yourself out trying to implement everything perfectly right now if it's too much. Take what you can from this video. Apply what you're comfortable with. And over time, you'll reap the rewards. I really hope you found this helpful. If you did, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring that notification bell so you see the next video when it drops. I put direct links to all the products I mentioned down in the video description. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope to see you again on the next video. And if nothing else, remember this: June and July don't have to be the months your tomatoes die. They can be the months your tomatoes thrive. Make that happen.